Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast. And sustainability, that's sort of a big aspect for you as well, is it? Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a conservation biologist, and that's always been, I'm really fortunate to do something that I love, and I'm passionate about my job. And, for me, it's not just something that I do in the workplace or in my research or, when I'm out in the field, or it's something that I want to do every day. I want to practice.
Which is good. Yeah.
Reducing, how do you minimize your physical impact to have a greater impact on actually, protecting the planet. And of course there's difficulties associated with that. And there are things that, I don't think it's an all or nothing kind of mentality. I hear a lot of people that, this thing I call conservation guilt, people that go to the Starbucks and forget their coffee cup and now they get a disposal one and they feel bad or whatever. I don't necessarily think it like that. I think you need to give yourself some grace, but if you can implement things in your daily life that ultimately reduce or are going to help counteract these negative impacts of these massive events that are associated with climate change, I think that that's important. And I think individual contributions towards that matter, and living in something like a tiny home kind of automatically sets you up to do a lot of that because you don't have any other choice.
Exactly. It sort of has you on the path that you sort of, you are sort of consuming less.
Yeah, exactly. And even little things that are, when I shower, I have to use things that are biodegradable and earth friendly. I can't be putting things into the jars so those kinds of choices and those things that you automatically have to do, it really helps you or kind of forces you to be more mindful of what you're consuming, what you're using, and how you use it.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me a bit more about sort of what the job entails of being a sort of conservation biologist.
I now I'm a candidate. I'm working towards my doctorate, and my work specifically, and I'm almost done, so I'm excited about that this summer. But my work right now specifically focuses on studying snow leopards. So I consider myself broadly a conservation biologist, but I'm a conservation geneticist. So specifically what I do is look at the DNA of snow leopards to figure out, how many unique individuals there are in a population. I look at what they're eating. I look at sex ratio. And then I do this by taking the DNA from their actual scat or their poop. So I go up into the mountains in Central Asia and I collect a bunch of scat, extract the DNA from it. And then from that, I get all of this information that I can use to figure out how they're moving through the landscape, who's related to who, what's their genetic diversity like. And then other things like, looking at the DNA of the prey item that they've consumed to figure out what snow leopards are eating. And is any of that livestock? And are there problems with the herding community? Things like that. So my job right now is specifically focused on using kind of these molecular and field techniques to examine snow leopard populations, more so in China than anywhere else on the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau. But in the past, my job entailed, I worked with elephants for a while. I did some, my whole kind of catalyst to becoming a conservation biologist started in Zimbabwe. I was not doing well in college, and I decided that I was just going to kind of screw it. And I went off to Africa, and that was ended up being really important because it helped me figure out, what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And that love with elephants really just kind of spearheaded a lot of these other opportunities. And, I did a lot of behavior and welfare work in a couple of zoos in the United States. And when I decided to start my PhD, I knew I wanted something a little bit different, and I wanted to kind of expand and work with, a bunch of diverse different people. And I think that led to, the Snow Leopard Project, but then really taking it and running with it and spending a lot of time in China and really kind of honing in on, the things that made my PhD, obviously, my doctorate, my dissertation, but then also being these huge components of my life that I ended up just, really latching on to at the time.
Yeah. Amazing. I think it's fascinating. I think it's really, really interesting what you're doing.
Yeah, I love it. And I I'm not sure what the next step will be. I'm applying for jobs and postdocs, things like that. But I'm definitely wanting to stick with carnivores and to hopefully continue the work with snow leopards. I just absolutely love it. And I think, being a part of saving species is just something that for me is very fulfilling work.
Thanks for watching this little teaser for the Tiny House Ideas podcast. If you'd like to listen to the full episode, it's available on all major streaming platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all of the others. Alternatively, if you'd rather watch it sort of in a video format like this video has been, then that's available on Patreon. Just search for Tiny House Ideas. So thanks again for watching. Please do check out the full episode, and thanks again.